Okay, so Hollywood Week. I gave you a lot more for Hollywood Week, and pretty much the people that I got closest with were the ones that you guys see like tagged in the video. Hollywood Week was a lot more fun for me because it was a lot less business and a lot more connection. Like I got to actually sit and hang out with people. So Hollywood Week was in Santa Monica, California, and it was the 5th through the 13th. Before you go to Hollywood Week, you have to get like a psych evaluation, another type of evaluation, and they're asking you things like, do you have anybody that would be like mad if you were made it on TV, like those type of questions. More of a deeper psych evaluation where you're telling them things like, that's where I wasn't telling my trauma on TV. It was more so in that private setting because they have a literal like doctor that's like on set. So they do these interviews before. So anyway, during Hollywood Week, they do pay for the hotel and your room. And then they get to choose who you room with. And then you get like a $50 voucher for Uber Eats every day. So that's how you're eating like the first day. But once we're at location to film or to actually perform, you can't really be sending Uber Eats out there because we're pretty much on camera the entire day of the second and third day that we're performing. So first day we get there, it was really comforting because when I flew in, there was a group of other people that I was meeting up with to get on a bus, and I had recognized them, like they were all from my audition. That's who you see in the very beginning of the vlog. So that was kind of sweet because I remembered all of them, and like of course familiar faces are a lot more comforting. So the people that I auditioned with are the ones that I ended up like connecting with the best. So we get to our hotel, we fly in, a bus takes us to the hotel, we get to a hotel, and then basically all of us are sitting, like all 150 of us are sitting in a hallway waiting to get rehearsals, and then like for hours and hours and hours, and then some of us didn't even get to go, which is a little annoying because you kind of feel like a child, like why do I have to sit here and do this all day? Like you can't leave, like you have to tell anyone anywhere you go, and we're doing the rehearsals in the hotel, so it's like I'm not trying to leave the hotel, but like can I go take a nap? But you can't. So I didn't even get to do that. But then the next day is when you see like we get ready, we get our film outfits on, and that first day I got pulled for one interview, and then that's pretty much it. And we're all sitting there doing nothing in that holding room all day long. So that is draining again. We ended up sneaking off to the beach, as you see, and then that next day we're put on a bus, and then we get sent to the hangar, and the hangar is where we actually performed and filmed. And that's when it goes downhill for me, because we pull up, we have to sit in chairs outside before we can like go into the holding room. The holding room is like the pretty like blue curtain room that you're seeing on camera, but there's a bunch of chairs outside where we have to sit on. Like we don't even all fit in that holding room, so there's like chairs and tents outside that we're also sitting on, which thank God it was nicer weather than it was for the audition, so at least we weren't like freezing. But then you're in the holding room and it's 80 degrees in the holding room because you're in like a literal, what's it called, like you're like in a sunroom, like it's a clear tented room, and it's like an incubator because the sun's coming down, and there's curtains for walls. So that's what you guys are seeing on camera. So that's our holding room, and we're basically sitting there until we can go into the hangar to start performing and filming. So we're sitting there for hours again. I don't think we even started our performances until like 1 that day. Not even the performances, but getting in. We get let in, and all of this is being filmed. They're filming all of this. So we get let in, we have assigned seats, we're told exactly where to go. We did get excuse me of the hiccups. We did get to watch each other perform, which was really cool, but also very intimidating, because once you're sitting there in that room and you're watching everybody perform, you're like, holy shit. That's when it hits you, like this is not a singing competition. This is a TV show. And there's literally so many reasons as to why we will never know why people are getting sent home and why they're getting picked, because Like, there's no way they're picking between these people based on talent. There's way too much incredible talent. So that first day, about half of the people go, and we're going. You don't barely get to leave. You don't get to eat. You can't have a jacket on because you're being filmed. So if, you have to have on what you're going to be performing in. Keep in mind, we're wearing the same clothes for like days in a row. Like, not for the audition and for this, like, you're wearing the same set of clothes. So like, you smell because you can't wash your clothes. So we smell, and you're exhausted already by like day 2 or 3, whatever day it is, by the time we get to film. So that first day, about half or more of us go, and then that second day we wake up and do it all over again and go straight to the hangar and redo it. So I got to perform that second day. I ended up losing my voice, like literally completely losing my voice, and I wasn't even talking. Like, that's just what happens to me when I'm exhausted and you're getting like 4 hours of sleep and you're not eating proper. You're getting like a half a meal a day. You're not eating proper, you're not drinking proper, so you're just exhausted. And I'm sure that's like part of the process, like on purpose, but it's kind of just how it has to be because they have so much to film and there's so many people. So I ended up losing my voice, and my performance was not the best. Like, everyone else was like, said it was amazing, but I just blacked out and just like got through it as best I could. But I had absolutely no voice, and Luke Bryan was the only one who said something. Katie and Lionel did not say anything. And all he really said was like, your rasp is insane, but your vibrato is behind the beat or something like that. Something that like didn't even make sense to me, like musically. I was like, what? Like, yeah, I don't know what he was even saying. And I'm pretty sure what he said to me was actually shown for someone else's performance on TV. Someone else got a feedback from him, and I'm almost 99% sure it was like what he said to me. But stuff is chopped and edited. This is when, like, when we're in this hangar performing, that is when I was like, this is so staged, because you can literally see them looking down every 2 seconds at paper. And Luke specifically is clearly not, like, these are musicians, but they're acting, and it was every single person that went, the judges would take turns. So you could tell that, like, the judges literally had a specific, like, they were being told who's gonna speak. Does that make sense? So like, if A goes, Luke's gonna speak, and then when B goes, Katie's gonna speak, and then when C goes, Lionel's gonna speak, and then this is repeating. So I noticed that every single time someone went, they're just going back and forth, taking turns, and only one person speaks. So that was kind of interesting, and also what led me to believe that they're like reading key words off of a paper and then having to slew a sentence together. Especially because, like, Luke specifically was just, like, in my opinion, it was, like, painfully obvious that he was, like, reading something off of paper, because he would look down and then kind of, like, stutter and, like, look at them, and, like, it would take him forever to form a sentence together. So, again, these are opinions. Like, I'm not saying these are the facts, but you'd have to be kind of, like, naive to think that they're like giving actual honest opinions. I just still don't believe that like the judges have any say with this. So anyway, I wasn't happy with my performance, but at that point I knew it wasn't anything to do with talent, so it was whatever. But then after my performance, they pull you for like more B-roll, and well, before my performance they pulled me for B-roll. And then afterwards, after you perform, then you get pulled for a confessional. And in the confessional, like, I was just sobbing the whole time because I was so exhausted and so over it. And that's what I do. Like, I just cry. When I'm mad, when I'm sad, when I'm happy, when I'm overwhelmed, like, whenever I'm just overwhelmed with even good emotions, like, I just cry. So I was just upset because I was just exhausted and I was not happy with my performance. So I was pretty much crying the whole time in my confessional. And so that was not very positive. And then I had to go back, sit down in my seat, and then like finish the rest of the night out, which is you sitting there watching your peers perform. So by the end of this, they send you outside into the freezing cold because it's like nighttime at this point, late in the night, hours later. And they split you up according to your audition city. So luckily I did get to be next to the people that I auditioned with, who is the people I got closest with. And your name's being called out outside before you even walk in for exactly where you're gonna stand. And then you're sent in like one row at a time, or like one audition city at a time. You go in the room, it's dead silent. It's intense now because this is where people are getting cut. So the energy is just like you can cut the air with a knife. So you go in according to who you're supposed to sit next to, and then they're calling out names to stand on the left side or the right side of the stage. And as people are getting called, you still just have like no idea what is the group that's going to be cut because everyone is so insanely talented. Now, as we're hanging out and these days are going on, you're finding out things you're not supposed to know, okay? Because we're connecting with each other, we're talking. So you're finding out so-and-so already had a film crew at his house before the audition. So, you know, like stuff like that, to where you're just like, okay, you already know that person's going through, like they already had him picked to go through because there's been a camera crew at his house, so we know his whole story is getting shown. So I kind of knew when a certain name, I was kind of in the middle of like the name calling, because it's not massive groups, these are very small groups, and I don't think they really showed any of this on TV. They didn't show anything the same on TV that they have in the past. Like everything that they did this year was very different, especially when you're watching it on TV. They're not showing like even 10% of like what's actually happening. It's crazy. So you don't really know, like, am I the group that's getting sent home or are they, until I'm down there and then they're calling certain names that I'm like, okay, well, I know those two already had film crew to their home before the auditions and none of us did. So that I knew like I was already getting sent home by the group that I was in. So anyway, they cut us, the group across from us. I remember poor KB was just like starts crying, and Aji starts crying because we're like connected now. We're really close with each other. We're friends, and we just like run across the stage and like start hugging each other goodbye, because as soon as you're cut, you're done. Like they're sending you out. You get like off. They're grabbing you. They're like off. Like you need to get out. You need to get out. Like it's kind of crazy. I did get pulled for like an exit interview because they're picking random people to get exit interviews. And I'm sure this is again for like entertainment purposes, because they were picking all of us with like, you know, extra personalities. And I got pulled and a few other people that got pulled, and we're just saying shit that you can tell like they're pissed. They're like, you can't say that. Because they're asking us things like, do you think the judges made the right decision? Like they're baiting you. And I'm like, I don't think the judges have a say with anything, actually. I think this is all staged. And then they're like, you can't say that. You know, like they're, whatever. So you get these little exit interviews, and at this point, I don't give a shit. Like I'm kind of, part of me is like relieved because I know myself, and I will be the first to admit I'm not built for this shit. I'm not built to be for like hours and hours and months. Like imagine like the people who just got, like imagine these people that are continuing the competition all the way to the end. Like I know I'm not built for that. I'm not built to be a robot. Like that's very robotic and staged, and that's just not who I am. Like what you see is what you get, and I'm gonna be honest, and that's not good for business for them. So I got pulled for like that one little exit interview, and then you're sent on the bus, you're sent to the hotel, you pack up your stuff, you get sent to another hotel by the airport, and then we're all flying out the next day at different times. So it's very fast. Like it feels like you're there for a year. My cats are fighting. it feels like you're there for years and then just like that it's over and you're sent out. But what's really sad is I do feel like there's a lot of manipulation going on, because before Hollywood Week, when I was preparing for Hollywood Week, one of the producers sent me like a personal video because I was supposed to have a Zoom meeting with her to go over my music, and I'm asking my peers if they're having a Zoom meeting to do this, and they're like no. Not to say no one else did, but from the people I got close with, like they didn't have this experience. And she ended up getting sick, so we didn't ever get the Zoom meeting, but it was to go over our music. And she ended up sending me a personal video of her face, like, I really don't need to have a meeting with you. I just wanted to give you a bout of confidence, because I still have this video, by the way, and I really wanted to put it in here, but again, like, I'm not trying to get sued. Because it's like a personal video in her home, and like I already know that would get me in trouble. But she's basically telling me like, you're gonna make it, without telling me you're gonna make it. And I don't know if they do this to keep your head in the game with those of us that are older and more experienced. I don't know if they do this to just, to keep your head in the game so you keep playing the game. But basically saying like, I'm so happy with your second song choice. Like I'm so glad you chose that, yada yada, because I chose a Carrie Underwood song for my second song choice, which I obviously didn't get that far. So I'm like, interesting that I got sent that video where she was like telling me like, great song choice, I'm stoked for you, blah 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 blah, like just for me to get sent home. Like, I don't know, I thought that was kind of weird and fishy. And then on the bus, like the producers are like, this isn't the end of the road, like even though you guys got sent home, like there's still, like your journey's just begun, it's just begun. And they're basically making it sound like you're still gonna get TV time, and make sure you take your content and watch out for emails. And then like what we see on TV, like there's hundreds of us that didn't get any TV time. So I don't feel bad for myself, but I feel bad for everybody, because this experience is exhausting and it does feel a little bit manipulative. Because why are you like telling us that we're going to like get TV time and get this exposure, and there's all this opportunity to still come? We all know 20 minutes of TV time could change someone's life. So then for you to not even show people's auditions or even 5 minutes of their story, I think that's manipulative, and that's like weird to me. Cutthroat, but it's showbiz. It is what it is. And I don't want to say too much other than thank you guys for like the support and the positivity, even though I didn't get a lick of TV time shown. I'm grateful for this experience, because I've just learned so much more, and I'm that much more confident in my ability. And I just trust that rejection is protection. And I'm grateful for the friends I've made. Like, I went in this being strictly business, and I came out with a bunch of really talented, amazing, cool, dope friends. So, fuck American Idol. But I loved the people I got close with, and I'm really thankful for the experience. And just thank you guys for supporting me. So make sure to look out for new music. Share this. This helps me any bit of exposure. Check out my merch. Check out my music, and be on the look for new music. And I love you guys.